Welcome to my session about orchestrating multiple online services in a virtual classroom. This is based on our ongoing development project where we try to apply lessons learned during the emergency distance education period this spring, when Estonian schools, like probably many other schools around the world, had to shut down and switch their teaching and learning processes online. This is the situation in many schools around the world today that has started to use different information systems in education. Usually one of the first information systems that is welcome to the school is school information systems or class journals, where teachers register on a daily basis the attendance, grades, and notifications. So this is basically the administration tool and tool for keeping contact between school and parents. But this is still not yet a learning platform. So this is where learning never happens. In parallel, probably on the national level, countries are setting up the national student registries, teacher registries, curriculum registries, and so on. Every school has their own website. Probably there are some repositories where digital learning resources are collected. Their metadata is stored. The learning resources are mapped to a national curriculum. So these kind of systems usually appear the first in schools. But they don't help much when we have to shift our educational process fully online. This is the situation with digital learning ecosystems in Estonian schools today. So on top of that, school information systems that are used in all schools of Estonia, there are two different commercial service providers that offer this service to schools. It's a paid service. We have also a national catalog of online learning resources. It's only catalog. It means that the resources could be anywhere, in YouTube or in FET Library of Simulations in Colorado University, or in European History Teachers portal, Euroclio, or even in YouTube. But in eSchoolback platform, Estonian teachers can compile collections out of these various resources and include also links to digital textbooks, which over 300 of them are available today for Estonian schools for all subject areas, all grade levels. So this comprises the learning content part of digital ecosystem. But we discovered soon that when the emergency distance education period started, that this is not enough for switching the education process. It means teaching and learning and feedback and grading to fully online mode. We need also learning management systems. And of course, learning management systems like Moodle have been around for almost 2 decades now. And in Estonia, it is quite nicely organized. There is a national free hosted Moodle service that any educational institution in Estonia can use for free. And most of universities are using it very actively. However, schools, primary and secondary and high schools, use Moodle, I would say, rarely, because it seems to be not meeting the needs of Estonian teachers and students. is too heavyweight. It takes too long time to learn how to use and to maintain and to design your courses. So many Estonian teachers actually have switched from Moodle to more lightweight systems like Edmodo or Schoology, ClassDojo. But the problem with these cloud-based, very easy to use online learning platforms is that they are not in Estonian. They cannot be adapted or integrated to this Estonian digital ecosystem of services, not talking about mapping with Estonian national curriculum. There are, of course, also several important worldwide innovations happening all the time in EdTech sector, educational technology. So for my today's presentation, two of them are of specific importance. The first one is Experience API or XAPI protocol for harvesting metadata for learner interactions to do the learning analytics in easy and visual way. And the other one is Learning Tools Interoperability platform or interface that allows to connect external services to my learning platform so that I can assign students to create a mind map, for instance, from my platform, but they actually perform it in outside service. Outside service doesn't receive the personal data of my students, but returns their results and learning outcomes to my platform, to my learning management system. So this is all available already for years, and it's in use in many countries, but mostly, again, not in general education level. So what did we learn during distance education period this spring? We learned that there is low or very limited interoperability between systems. The only exception was interoperability or integration between eSchool, which is a school information system, this administrative tool, and OPIC, which is e-textbook platform with 300 digital textbooks. So this integration worked pretty well, and actually it saved the day for many, many Estonian teachers. This integration was available already last year, but I would say that the majority of teachers discovered it only in March when the need became really urgent. What also this explosion of different innovative learning services, which are mostly created by our very active startup sector, it resulted with is that innovative teachers are moving to the different digital space, and their more traditional colleagues are not able to observe their innovative practices. We also have issues with our data protection authority, who actually gave very strong signal in May that we are not supposed to allow our students to use these external services abroad that doesn't follow GDPR, the General Data Protection rules for European Union. Yes, and we have also some great ideas in our new educational strategy that cannot be addressed with this existing digital ecosystem. So that's why we came up with this concept for a next generation online learning platform. We right now call it Schooloby. So the main idea is that it is a very thin, very easy to use online learning platform, which is only used for integration purposes. So most of the learning happens outside, but the starting point is Schooloby. This is the place where teacher gives assignments to students, and where the results are collected and interactions are harvested from the whole ecosystem. So we're, of course, using our nationally available single sign-on service. The the main reason for this platform is orchestration of tens or in the future hundreds of digital learning services that are provided by companies which take care of only very narrow kind of learning activity. For instance, only geometrical transformations in mathematics or functional analysis, like Desmos, for instance, does. So we also provide all this data, the digital traces and footprints of learners to teachers, to parents, to school leaders and school owners in the form of visualized graphs so that they could make data-informed decisions about changing their educational practices and test some new methods and see impact of these changes immediately in practice or over the longer period of time. It also allows automation of some teaching tasks thanks to recommender systems which are built in, like recommenders, more difficult additional resources to fast students. And it suits for both normal and very innovative teachers and brings them together into one space where they could observe each other's approach and paradigm to teaching and also the activities and resources they use. So the main unit in this platform is not a lesson like in e-school. The main unit is task. So everything is around tasks. Teacher assigns the tasks to students and connects some resources to these tasks. And the task might carry student away to some outside learning service. It's a research-based concept, but it is being developed now by Estonian company, software company NetGroup, the same company that developed e-school back platform, also based on our research done in Tallinn University. So this is how it looks like. We are using traveling metaphors for structuring and designing our user interface in Schoolabi. So instead of courses, we have journeys. Teacher is a guide. In the future, we're going to have different templates for courses. We're going to have package tours where everything is predefined and preset, exactly the same for whole group. And we're going to have also personalized learning paths for backpackers. We have milestones and stops during this journey. So this is the first thing the teacher defines when designing the course. And for every milestone, teacher assigns the tasks, learning resources, which all are connected to national curriculum, allowing this fine-grained analysis of students' improvement and their capacity improvement. So this is how teacher adds milestone to a journey. This is how teacher's dashboard look like, his all journeys, the students' roster, communication, all familiar things. So conclusion is that the crisis in spring was bad. It was difficult for schools to handle, but we should not let the results and the fruits of this crisis to go wasted. I think it has been the most educational crisis, at least in Estonian education sector, forever. And we tried to put it into practice by developing this new platform, which will be soon available for all schools around the world. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Mart, for the introduction to the new e-platform. And the Q&A session is about to start. So, the first thing is, if the launch of the new e-platform takes place, what do you see is going to change in the learning process from a point of view of a student?
From the point of view of the student, the services they can use will become much richer. They can use not only the services that are assigned by teachers, they can find their own replacement, for instance, the better app to create concept maps or timelines or so on. It means that learning will become more self-directed and will have enriched feedback thanks to learning analytics. So I think this will lead eventually to smarter learning.
Okay, very good. What is your favorite virtual teaching tool and what do you use the most is the question from the participants.
This is a very tricky question because you must understand that I am the senior researcher in education technology who has completed the PhD thesis on design of online learning environments. So it means that I'm kind of addicted to try always the new learning environments, distinguish which one of them is my favorite right now at this moment. Probably it would be good to say that at this moment my favorite is Schoolabi because all my faith is in this new platform. Otherwise I wouldn't be involved in developing it.
Isn't it a paradox that we search for new technology, we search for new methods and platforms to make learning and teaching more meaningful, and at the same time we complain that there are too many options available already today?
Yes, of course, it is a paradox, and I completely understand that the majority of teachers are complaining about this too many tools and too many platforms, and of course, only very limited group of innovators are happy about this availability of so many options and choices. But eventually, on the school level, the school leaders and the teachers have to decide that what's the best common set of tools for our school, and then be happy with that for the next 3 or 5 years, and while having in parallel also possibility to include some new tools. Previously it was a little bit tricky, but with our platform it becomes very easy to integrate new tools for innovative teachers and let majority of teachers be happy with the mainstream toolbox.
So your answer leads us to the next question, which is here and sounds... now I have lost it. No. Yes. How much time it would take to adapt this concept in full in one country?
On the country level, it's really very difficult to answer. It depends on the country. In Estonia, if we would gain lots of support from schools and from ministry and national agencies, probably it could be done in 5 years, and even then we would have 20 to 30% of schools who prefer to use something older like Moodle or something even newer. But within one school, it's a little bit easier to answer. Within one school, I would say that within 1 school year, the conversion to this platform could take place easily.
Okay. You as a researcher, the question to you is, what would be the perfect virtual teaching tool? As a researcher, what would research say? What kind of functions it should have?
So there was a time 20 years ago when researchers in my field worked with this concept that like creating something like a Swiss Army knife, which has all 30 different tools built inside of the Moodle. So the Moodle has a blog and wiki and concept map and testing tool, everything in one place. And it seemed meaningful at that time, not anymore. So I would say that now, 2020, especially after COVID crisis, this is not the right way of thinking that which tool is the best. There are no best tools. Like the same is like what is the best food. Even if I like some food today, I don't agree to use this food or eat this food 7 days a week. So it means that I need different tools. I need to constantly revise my toolbox to replace some outdated tools with newer ones. But the cycle of replacement for some teachers is measured in months, and for other teachers is measured in decades.
So implementation is very crucial, and especially the time we spend on implementing new ideas, new methods, new platforms. So what role could universities have or take in this process of making this process of implementation quicker?
Of course, two main roles of universities are research and teaching. Teaching the teachers and software developers. So this is what we have been trying to do. Previously, we even used to build ourselves these innovative tools, but at some point we gave up, and now we believe that the role of university is to build a research-based concept and prototype, and then hand it over to professional software engineers who will develop the real product and provide quality of service. But of course, once it is launched and it is ready, university has a new job to train the teachers and to find meaningful uses for this, starting from future teachers in initial teacher education. It must be integrated also in our university studies then, and also to continuous professional development of acting teachers.
Right. So the next question is about the Ministry of Education. And from that angle, as to sell this product or concept to the Ministry of Education, how easy it is? And how do you estimate whether the Ministry of Education and Research will openly greet and be happy about it and help the implementation process and et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah. I've been done lots of international consulting of e-learning in different countries, and I know that there are some countries where you can put the face and name to ministry. It means that you have to sell it to one person, a minister or a department head. Okay. In Estonia, it doesn't work this way. So there is no ministry's opinion. A ministry consists of, I don't know, 100 or 200 officials, and probably some of them liked this idea even before I introduced it. And then there are others who don't like it even after long convincing and motivating and showing some good examples. So I would say that the ministry's job is not to buy this thing or to implement this thing in schools or to order the schools to use it. Ministry should just create favorable conditions for any sort of meaningful innovation in education sector, which what they have done in Estonia. So I would just say that I shouldn't be selling it to ministry. It will sell itself to schools, and ministry just creates favorable conditions for innovation.
Right. Yeah. Although when you said that usually it's, or sometimes it is one name, then I came up with one name.
Okay.
Harno.
Harno is not the name. Harno is label for an institution which
right.
has a few hundred officials, and the same story again. Yeah. Some people like, some don't.
True.
Yeah.
It's true, every school is different. Too many choices is not good. Less is more. Competence is important. How to use. How to get to this competence level that everybody who are going to use it know and can.
So there is no way to level up the competencies of teachers, the digital competence especially. So it means that we have to design the tools that at least some parts of the tool or minimum level of using this tool is so easy that any teacher can pick it up within 15 minutes. And we've been doing it before. So our first learning management system we introduced to Estonian schools in 2001 was called Vico, Virtual School. And this was a result of a master thesis of my colleague, Hans Põldoja. And his design goal was to design an online learning environment that any teacher can learn within 15 minutes. And this was the tool. And it actually worked this way. We never had the courses on how to use Vico. So now we try to repeat it, but on the next level, because teachers' competencies have jumped significantly, because every teacher uses e-school, and they also have this Corona distance education experience. So it means that now it's going to be much more easy to on the competence wise to convince people to use it.
Mart, I would like you to step out of your comfortable researcher shoes and put on your teacher shoes or head teacher shoes and answer the next question. What do you think is the hardest thing about teaching and learning from a distance?
Yeah, it's not so easy, difficult for me to change these tools because I've been the school principal, I've been the teacher, mathematics teacher, informatics teacher. So I would say the most difficult thing, if you have to switch to online distance teaching in a very short period, is to rethink the pedagogical design of your course, because you cannot copy the things you did in the classroom to online. You cannot lecture 45 minutes in a Zoom video. Everybody will be bored to death. So if you need the video, keep this video in 5 minutes and pre-record it, distribute it before the lesson, but spend the contact hours, the synchronous sessions meaningfully. And this needs to address some really difficult decisions that previously you have taken for granted because it was kind of always this way. But now you have to rethink. I have to give up 20% of my teaching content. Which part will be able to sacrifice? Which competencies are needed? How do I measure them if I switch assessment online? So I would say that the pedagogical redesign is the greatest challenge. The tools. Any teacher can learn any tool in relatively short time.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Mart, for your contribution here today to the international audience, and all the best for the new e-platform. Thank you.
Thank you.